All right, Taurus, if you're listening, I need you to really tune in because 2026 is going to be the year where everything you believe about your own strength gets turned on its head. We're not doing the usual advice today. Instead, we're going to look at your year through a totally different lens, using some ancient Eastern wisdom that holds the real key for you to not just get by, but to absolutely thrive. I mean it. Seriously, for just a second, can you put the boulder down and just listen? I know you pride yourself on being that unmovable rock, the one person who can handle any weight, any pressure. But in 2026, that very thing you call your greatest strength could actually be your downfall. Look, for years now, the planet Uranus has been moving through your sign, shaking up your very foundations. The energy is shifting and the universe is practically screaming a message at you. Your old way of doing things, just digging your heels in and fighting the world with stubbornness, it's just not going to work anymore. Pushing back is only going to cause you to break. But there's another way, a much, much smarter way. To really get this shift, we need a story. It's a classic little parable about two different kinds of strength, and honestly, it is the absolute heart of what 2026 is all about for you. Just think about this for a second. On one side, you've got the mighty oak tree. Its entire identity is built on being strong, rigid, unbending. So when a storm comes, what does it do? It fights it head on. Then you have the bamboo. Its identity is all about flexible strength. It doesn't fight the storm, it yields to it, it bends with it. Now, for your whole life, you've probably been told to be the oak, but let's see what happens when the big storm actually hit. So the great storm of 2026 arrives. The wind is howling. The oak, standing there in all its pride, refuses to budge. Not 1 inch. It fights with every ounce of its being, and then with this horrible cracking sound, it just snaps. But the bamboo? Oh, the bamboo just bows. It bends all the way down to the ground, letting all that chaos and pressure just blow right over it. And when the storm finally passes, it just rises back up again, completely fine. This, right here, is the lesson for you. True strength for you in 2026 isn't about how much you can withstand. It's about how well you can bounce back. When plans suddenly change, don't get angry, just bend. When someone challenges your idea, don't immediately build a wall, just listen. This flexibility, that's going to be your new superpower. Okay, so let's take this same idea of letting go and see how it can totally transform your relationships, especially the way you connect with the people you really care about. There's this wonderful Zen story about a professor who goes to visit a master, and he just talks and talks, endlessly going on about his own ideas. So the master starts to serve him tea, and he just keeps pouring, even after the cup is full, letting it spill all over the table. The professor yells, "Stop, it's full!" And the master just calmly replies with this quote, "Taurus, and I say this with love, this is you. You love to have the answer, to provide the solution, to be right. But sometimes, people don't need your logic. They just need you to give them some space." So I really want you to ask yourself this one simple question in every single conversation you have this year. I promise you, it is a total game changer. Are you just waiting for your turn to talk, to jump in with your brilliant fix? Or are you actually truly hearing what the other person is feeling without any judgment? And that's the key. That's the fix. Before you speak, before you even think about trying to solve their problem, just stop. Empty your mind of all your own opinions and just let their feelings pour in. That simple act of creating space for them, that's where the deep, meaningful connection you've been craving is finally gonna happen. All right, let's pivot and talk about your career, your goals, your success. How in the world are you supposed to achieve anything when the world feels so chaotic? Well, the answer lies in another really beautiful Taoist concept. It's called Wu Wei, and this is so critical. Wu Wei does not mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean being lazy. It means smart action. It's all about aligning yourself with the natural flow of things instead of constantly fighting against it. Let me put it this way. A river has just one goal, right? To get to the ocean. But does it stress out about how it's going to get there? Nope. It just starts flowing. So when that river comes up against a giant boulder, a classic Taurus obstacle, it doesn't waste all its energy trying to smash right through it. It just parts. It flows around it and then rejoins on the other side. It finds the path of least resistance. And the lesson here is so clear. Without all that struggle, without force, the river always reaches its destination. So in 2026, when you hit a locked door, please stop kicking it. Instead, look around for the open window. The universe is trying to guide you to an easier, simpler path if you'll just stop fighting the current for a minute. So, how do we put all of this into practice? Let's build your simple toolkit for the entire year. These are going to be your core principles for 2026. Just remember these 4 things. 1, be the bamboo. Bend, don't break. 2, empty your cup. Listen way more than you speak. 3, flow like a river. If something isn't working, stop forcing it and find the natural current. And 4, always look for that open window instead of trying to break down the locked door. I'm going to leave you with this one last thought to really meditate on. 2026 is not about how much you can endure, Taurus. It's about how gracefully you can learn to move with the current. So the choice is yours. Are you going to spend the year building a dam to try and stop the flow of life? Or are you going to build a boat and learn to ride it beautifully?